So we're going to install CR Studio onto the computer. Grab the USB that came with the CR Lizard. Insert this USB stick into your computer. Open the USB. And you're going to have a couple files. You're going to have a folder with videos in it. You're going to have a error data processing video, a guide, and a track loss and recovered demonstration video. These are very helpful. I'll leave those for you to watch. We have our calibration text. This is very important. You want to make a couple copies of this, save this into another file somewhere. You don't want to lose this calibration file here. It's made per scanner, so everyone is different, and if you don't want to have to reach out to Creality for it, then I suggest you save that a couple times on multiple different devices. You have your CR Studio quick guide, and this is just going to basically be your manual. It's going to run you through everything. Unboxing the device. It's going to give you the camera, the USB drive, the tripod, turntable cable, device cable, power supply, turntable, and turntable surface. How to connect the device to the cable to your scanner, the turntable, and the turntable cable, how to plug that in. Now, this does not come with a power adapter for the turntable. You just get the turntable and the cable with the USB end. So you can plug that into your computer or get a power supply from a cell phone charger, something along them lines, and that will work also. Device installation, you connect the cable here, and you connect the USB to your laptop or PC, and you plug the power cable into the appropriate slot. USB drive, which is pretty much what we're going over now. Gonna launch the software. You got turntable mode and hand scan mode, and then you can also use hand scan mode with the turntable, so that you put your object on the turntable and scan with hand scan mode. This gives you software interface. I'll run through this a little bit more and give you a little bit more of what each of those all stand for. Here's your shortcut keys. These are very, very useful. So copy those, write them down, something, so that you have them at easy access when you are editing and manipulating your files. You have two different modes. You have geometric mode and texture mode. You have turntable mode, which I discussed. Here's adjusting the view. This way you can get your object in range. You want to be between 300 and 400 millimeters from the camera. This is the tripod. It is 360-degree swivelable. It stands on its own. It is a selfie stick, and it also extends. You have your brightness level. White objects, you want to set your brightness to 1. Light objects, set brightness to 2. Dark objects, set it to 3. And a black object, you want to use 4. So initializing the turntable, this will be step 2. When you're down in your selections down here in the software, as long as your table is red, like here, you just need to let it go for a couple seconds, and then you can click stop and step 2 is done. Start scanning. This will be put your object back. Oh, when you're in initialize mode, make sure your object is not on the plate. You just want to have your plate clear and just the plate. I'll go over that again too when I'm going through the software. Starting scanning, you just put your object back on, hit start scan, and let it go. And then you can scan the second posture or pose. You can turn your object a different direction to get different details and depths to help get better definition. Processing the data. So this is going to be your 1 click, 2 click, and you're done. And just select which ones you want, whether you want fill holes or you don't want the holes filled, and whether you want to auto align or manual align. If you auto align, it will take all the noise and pretty much align stuff on its own. Removing the base. So this goes through and tells you how to remove the base from your object. So you go into your edit icon and you will, well, I'll go through all that. But you go into your edit icon, go down to basement selection, and then click calculate base. And as long as there's a little bit of red on your base plate, it will calculate that. And then underneath there, down here, there's going to be a number. With that number, you can control how high up above the base plate or down close to the base plate the red actually goes. Sometimes with flatter models or objects, it tends to get buried in with the plate, and you don't want that, so that's where this adjustment comes in use. Start automatic processing. Like I said, click process, and then if you want fill holes, manual or whatever, manual or auto alignment, and then your surface faces, click process, and that's it. It'll start aligning, and if your alignment's okay with you, then you click yes. If not, then you go into manual alignment and you can help it along. For manual alignment, you got auto alignment success and auto alignment failure. Obviously you can see it looks like a teapot here, and here it does not. So for manual alignment, this is where you use your manipulate, which will be up above your scanned objects, and this will be in your modify icon up above your scanner image, or a picture of your scanner all the way on the left. Tells you how to do manual alignment. And click manual, click marker pair, and then you mark 2 points that are similar on the object, and do that about at least 3 times. You can do more. The more, sometimes better, but sometimes it is hard to get, a lot of points lined up. And click align, and it will align it for you. And as long as that's all good, then you continue on. And you complete the processing, and then takes the plate out, gives you the rendition of your model. And here's handheld mode. So you scan your object. You'll want it big when using handheld mode. Like I said, small is an object smaller than 500 millimeters, and big is an object bigger than 500 millimeters. Your scanning process, and then start scanning, finish scan, be the same thing, 2 clicks, 1, 2, and fill holes, texture mapping if you want to click those. You got your auto or manual alignment. And here's your auto data processing. If everything looks good, you can go with it. If you take more than one handheld scan and it's on something that did not move, then you should be able to align all your scans manually also. fully automated color texture mapping. So anything, pictures, patterns, stuff like that, it will be able to pick that up also. And just a couple other accessories to sometimes help your scanning experience. So that was the quick start guide. And here's the Cr-Scan evaluation guide. And this gives you a couple pointers, more details. So detailed core selling points, you know, high precision up to 0.05 millimeters. Smallest object is 20 by 20 by 20, so that's your basic calibration cube. Objects with good scanning effect, 80 by 80 by 150. Visually tracking, automatically capture objects without markers, can scan textured objects, easy to operate software, multiple scanning modes. So you have turntable mode, you have handheld and turntable mode, and you have handheld mode. So turntable mode is good for 15 millimeters to 200 millimeters. Handheld and turntable mode is good for 200 to 500 millimeters. And the handheld mode is suitable for 500 to 2000 millimeter size objects. Okay, you can scan black objects. It is recommended to scan the gamepad and set the brightness to the highest level. So scanning black objects, you want to turn it up. Scan in the sun, scan objects other than black under direct sunlight, such as stone carvings and wood carvings. Use geometric mode. You got your aviation plug, industrial level quality, color texture mapping, and then again, a couple other accessories. Objects not suitable for scanning are transparent objects, shiny metal shiny reflective objects, and hair very thin or hollowed objects. Now some of these, like glass and shiny objects, reflective, you can spray a developer on them. Anything to kind of like clear, you need to make it so it's seeable. Shiny, you need to take it so that it's a little dull and there's no glare. So you can use different promoters or developers. Like this is kind of makes it a white. I've found white and gray kind of work the best. White with a gray speckle kind of gives you a decent base to go off of on some things. And hair, you also have objects of using baby powder to kind of lighten, and dry shampoo. There's a few objects or alternatives you can use. Here's just the parameter specifications. Precision down to 0.05 millimeters. Resolution ratio 0.1 to 0.2 millimeters. Single frame rate range 100 to 200 millimeters. Operating distance 270 plus minus 100 millimeters. Scanning speed 10 frame rates per second. Lights, you got your LED plus your NIR. Note, near infrared mode does not irritate eyes. Fully automatic splicing mode, fully automatic geometry and visual tracking without markers. Your texture acquisition. Extended support is able to release. Okay, so there's more coming. LPAT format is STL or OBJ. Your machine weight is 350 grams. And the size is 160 by 85 by 25 millimeters. capable systems. You have Windows 10, 64-bit, and Mac OS. Mac will be releasing in March also. And that covers the evaluation guide. And we have the CR Studio demo. So open this up and you want to extract it all. I have done that already. So I'm going to open that up here. So you'll open this and you're going to scroll down to the CR Studio App Loader EXE. You're going to open that. You're going to click yes. You'll open up the software and go to turntable or hand scan mode, whichever one you prefer. Now this is incorrect. This says 600 to 800 millimeters. This is for the Cr-Scan 01. Like I said, you want to be between 300 and 400 millimeters. So over on the right hand side here, you have previous and next. Keep your area around your turntable free of debris so you don't pick any back texture or stuff up in your scans. You want to aim the camera directly at your object, not at the turntable, not off to the side of your object, but directly at the object to try and view as much of your object as possible. You want to adjust your brightness. Obviously this would be too bright. This would be too dark. You want to be able to see everything and see the difference and stuff. And next we have, aim for initialize, for preview. You're going to line up, this is first step. You're going to line up your object. Take your object off. Step 2, you'll push initialize. As long as your plate is red, you can push OK. And then you'll put your object back on and you'll hit scan. And then here's a couple other options. You're going to have a reset button when you're done scanning. You can append, which means you'll make another scan, rotating your object to make a second one, and process. That will start to align and put all your scans together. And so that takes us through the little brief walkthrough. We can go over a little bit of the options here. Again, you hover over something, it'll tell you what it is. So this is your view. Then you have a couple options here: fit, zoom in, zoom out, show color, shader mode, project mode, camera detection, your direction, R center. And then for tools, you got world coordinate system, ruler, and landscapes. Or sorry, legend scale. So that gives you the big world coordinates there. I didn't see no ruler pop up. There's the legend scale. Got a couple options here. Inspect parallel. Show color, custom color, material color. Zoom in, zoom out. Okay, so next one we got editor. This is where you'll edit your point clouds. You got delete selection, clear selection, hide selection, show selection. reverse selection, boundary selection, basement selection. So this is the one you want to use, basement selection. If you scan an image and only part of your plate comes out red, or if none of your plate comes out red, you can highlight a little bit. I'll go over that later, how to do all that. But this will identify your plate and can remove your plate all at once, or your scanning table, and just be left with your image or model that's scanned. So we have tool type, element type, operation mode, and visible type. Just these all have more options. Element type, or which one was that? Tool type. These are your different types of tools: point, line, rectangle, lasso, and polyline for editing your point clouds. Then we have our mesh tool. Got mesh doctor, repair topology, repair geometry, normal, reverse isolation item, desensing smooth, simplify, point cloud, fill holes. This would be your align button. This would be where you would take your two scans and align them. And then we have our info button with shortcuts, the help and info. Up here we have file. You got new project, open project, save as, recent open files, import, export, import calibration file. Let's see, I can do that real quick. So let's import calibration file, and that is going to be right here. I will actually go to the USB just to make sure. Where are we here? USB, calibration text, open. Okay. And yes, that's just because my camera wasn't connected. So I imported everything correctly. And we're back to here. And we have language. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different languages. Settings. We have vertex size, line width, multi-samples, work directory, where you want it to save your scans to, your countdown window length, so when you're in handheld mode it'll count down from 5 or whatever number you set that as. You got your guidance tips, so every time if you click this, every time you start the Cr-Scan Studio, or CR Studio, sorry about that. Every time you start CR Studio, it'll give you suggested prompts and tip notifications. So I can show you that here. Look up. So let's just go close. We'll exit. Open this back up. I can just save this onto my desktop as a logo or as a hotkey. You got your computer information, how many gigabytes you got available, what you got available on your hard drive that the system can allow for. You got down here, you have your scanning count and your frame rates. You have whether you want to do geometry or texture, and a small or big object. By big is actually a medium-sized object. your brightness level. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your frame rate, you got low, medium, and high. You got your preview. And then once you're done previewing, it'll go to initialize, and then this will be your scan. So up here you have home. Here you have fit to view. Here you have grid pattern. This is your light on and off. This is your representation. Whether you want points, wireframe, surface, or surface with edge. You got texture, select. This will be all the tools I was talking about earlier. Your point, your line, rectangle, lasso, polyline, select on, and select through. Then you have, this will be your move tool, manipulate so that you can move and arrange the scans a little bit to line up a little better. And this will be your pick information key. And that's everything in the center here. You do have this down here, which you know, it's your little box, gives you your X, Y, and Z. So over here you have your new project, open project, save project, undo, redo, copy object, delete object, and your settings again. And these are the same ones that I went through from over here in File. Your scans will show here, and after you're done scanning, click Process, and you maybe have one more click after that, and everything will be aligned for you. So that pretty much covers the software.